All right, here we go. Here we are again. Pass the mic. Live. This is the new NFL version. We're not going to talk about any other sports, at least not till the end of the season. It's the NFL recap show. We'll go into what happened last week and give our predictions on what happened this week. We are short one team player. JP couldn't make it tonight, so it's going to be me and Carl. Carl, how you doing tonight?
I'm all right. I'm here. Another day in the books. It's getting cold. I like it.
I love it. I love it. How cold is it up there?
No, it's all right now. It's 54 degrees, but this morning it was 37.
Yeah, when I left this morning, it was like 55 here.
Yeah,
but yeah, getting there. It's getting there. I know. I got
getting there.
37. I should.
Almost frost. It's almost frost.
Yeah, I should set my thermometer, my thermostat up there so I don't freeze.
First time in a long time, I had to put the heat on in the car when I first got in there because I was, I always run late for everything in life. So, running late, waking up, doing everything, jumping in the car. I was freezing my ass off this morning.
I noticed. So we got a lot to talk about this week. Of course, all the football. Let's start with a few things. I said we weren't going to talk about other sports. Of course we are. You could show your shirt right now if you want.
Something that happened today.
Yes, yesterday. And we'll see if it gets finalized. The rumor was that it is not going to get passed, and that's the Mets sale of the team. Listen, you never know what you're going to get with a new owner. You never know. I was happy when the Knicks were sold. I was happy when the Jets were sold. People in Washington were happy when Daniel Snyder bought them. You never know what the new guy's going to be. So he could be a disaster that puts your team in peril for 20 years. But Steve Cohen has money, and that's the best thing you can say about him. He's also a Met fan, which doesn't always work. He could, if he's a fan, he could, make all the judgments with his hearts like we would make, and it'd be terrible. It'd be awful. But we'll see. I know you're excited about it. Go ahead.
I'm excited about it because, like you don't know where it's going to go. We like our lovely teams we cheer for, and they're usually a disaster.
Always.
But it can't get,
except for these guys.
It can't get as bad. We wanted Wilpons out. We need him out. I mean, we have to go somewhere, and he stepped up to the plate, and he has money, like you said, and that's a positive. And what else can we ask for? I mean, we have to.
Well, you brought up an interesting thing. I didn't fact check it, which I usually do before I bring it up, but you brought up something. There's a link between him and Theo Epstein. Is that true?
I'm not really looking at that.
Here we go. That's what he needs, though. Forget about if he has a relationship with him. He needs to put a guy in place. And I'm wearing the Islanders hat. I'm loving what the Islanders are doing. What the Islanders did last year was what they should have done forever, which is get one of the best guys in the business to run the team. It's a New York market. Go out and get the best guy. They got Lou Lamoriello, brought him in, and all of a sudden they're one of the best teams. It's not an accident. If the Mets go out and they get a guy like Epstein or, I don't even want to throw other names out there, a guy who could run the whole organization.
Right.
And Cohen could stick his nose in here and there.
I mean, as far as everything right, he is good friends with them. And there's, like you said, I don't want to go forward and say anything, but there is rumors that that's his main guy. And
he's got a relationip with him. Yeah, that's all we can know right now.
That's all we know right now. It's already out there that's who the Mets are trigger. That's who they're going to bring in.
I'd love it. I would love it. Because bandwagon is a disaster.
I just want to go to the first step. First step is make sure it passes and make sure he's in there, and then that's a positive note for us.
And that's not a definite. Not a definite.
No, it's not.
He has a bad reputation. He's had SEC violations. He has had harassment accusations.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think, and I don't know if it's personal harassment again by him or just in his organization.
Right.
I don't know, but I know there's stuff there. There's stuff there.
And they got to go back in the books and check everything out. And you could have we all know what goes on, and you could have all kinds of harassment. You could have all kinds of stuff on you. It could be true, could not be true. So they got to go through all that stuff. I'm not holding my breath about it, but you know what? It's a positive thing for the New York.
Yeah, it can't be worse. It can't. The Wilpons are just a disaster. They treat the biggest market in the country like we're in Pittsburgh. Like I know they listen, and everyone says, "Oh, they have over $100 million pay." You accidentally have the top 10 payroll. Accidentally, you'll have the top 10 payroll because you have to, because you're in this city. You have to, but you should be taking chances. And the one thing, I always hear they can't be the Yankees. Well, why not? Why can't they be the Yankees? Because the Yankees built up that win mentality, and that's what got them there. It wasn't like, we're not talking about like the Knicks and the Nets. If the Mets win here, people go. People buy their stuff. If they win, they produce money, and then they could steamroll that and to keep winning and keep producing money. But the Wilpons first of all, the Wilpons got destroyed by Bernie Madoff. And when it first happened, they said they didn't. They said they could still sustain. They got destroyed by Bernie Madoff. They're still paying Bobby Bonilla because they thought Bernie Madoff was going to make them so much money for the next 50 years.
Right.
They were the biggest suckers of everybody with Bernie Madoff, and that destroyed them. They should have sold this team years ago. And the great part about this, and the only reason they sold is Saul Katz was part owner. And him and his family were like, we're done. We're done losing money. You guys don't know what you're doing. Get out. And that's when they came up with the deal where they wanted to keep – because Jeff Wilpon does not want to let go. Does not want to let go. And, I want to control the team for 5 years. Well, who's going to buy the team, let you control it for 5 years?
Yeah.
It's like selling a car and say, I get to drive it for the next year, but it's yours.
And he has TV on. He knows everybody don't want him around. He's no good. Everybody knows the fact. Who wants a guy like that in Wilpon to control anything? To take your money and run. Done. I
just like that Cohen has money. He's a passionate fan. Billions.
Big sale too. The big sale too.
The biggest.
He has the money.
The biggest ever, I think. Right so far.
Yeah. For the Mets, and for the Mets, it's like amazing. I saw that. I forget what it was, something billion, whatever billion. I seen
2.6, I think.
Yeah, it was like I said, holy shit.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. Well, Wilpon, why does Wilpon even fight about it? Just go.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm telling you, it wasn't a fight about the money ever. It was a fight about the control. They didn't want.
Well, that's what it is.
Jeff Wilpon didn't want to give up control, and once that sale fell through, once it fell through, the Katzes were like, you got to be kidding me. You better sell. That's it. You're selling the team. And then they put it up for bid, and he came back in. Now, is this better than A-Rod and J-Lo's group owning the team? My worry about that is that would be more of a business.
Right.
Like you see with Jeter, where Jeter had to cut all the payroll. He traded away 3 MVPs, basically. Ozuna, Stanton, and what's his name from Milwaukee?
Christian.
Yeah.
Christian Yelich, or whatever you pronounce it.
Yelich. Christian Yelich. Yes. Trades away everybody, gets rid of everyone on the team. Now, yeah, they win right now, yeah, but we don't want that. We need a guy that's going to go the opposite way and just spend money. Now, if they want to break down the team and start from scratch, that's fine. If you want to you got a good nucleus right now. If they turn around right now, because we're going nowhere. They want to turn around right now, keep DeGrom, keep, Alonso and McNeil and all the young guys.
Talented guys.
And trade away everybody else. Give it a year or two, and then sign all these free agents.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, there's about 5 or 6 guys that I would think about considering keeping, and the rest of them, whatever they want to do with them, get rid of them. It's fine.
We know who they are. It's McNeil. It's Alonso. Jimenez, this kid that came up this year. Conforto, Nimmo.
Yeah,
DeGrom. Like a cup.
Yep.
Yeah. About 7 guys. There is a nucleus there. There is a young nucleus there. You add a couple of guys. Look like Milwaukee adds Yelich.
Yeah.
And the Mets could never add a guy like that because they just wouldn't do it. They turn around and they add a guy like that. They go out and they get, like when a Machado was out there or a Harper was out there, even though I don't love those guys, but, a big guy out there to add to this young team.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to get if Cohen's there.
I agree with that, and I agree with the A-Rod deal. A-Rod was going to be a business.
We assume, yeah.
You know, and the only thing I agree with A-Rod, if A-Rod ended up with the team, was that I think he would want to show that this New York side could be better than that New York side. And I want to beat them and show them. But
that's
you
always
know what he would think. Money in his pocket, not in ours. It really like Jeter. He's making money no matter what he's doing. It doesn't matter. It's money in his pocket. So you don't know what he's doing. You know what they're doing. But
the Islanders got sold like 6 times, I think, since I started watching them. And every time someone came in, they had this campaign against the Rangers. You know, just when you just be successful. And that was even a little more, understandable because they were in the same division. The Mets should have nothing to do with worrying about the Yankees, except for the fact that they should build their business model like the Yankees did.
Yeah.
Just keep winning. And this is New York. You'll be a rich team.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on from that. That's the baseball we're going to hit. We're not talking about anything else but baseball. Big Ten football announced that they're going to play. We suspected this. I don't know how it took them this long. The virus is going away. It's not going away, but it's going away. It's going down. In every single state. The fact that so many teams are able to play college football right now and they can't was a little ridiculous. And they came back with the vote, and they're going to play, right?
Yeah, they're going to play, and it was more of a politic thing, and I don't want to talk about the politics, and whatever it is, and they voted, and I think it's an awesome thing, but I think to go ahead a little bit, I think it's a great thing how they're playing it out at the end with the 9th game. It's a format that they're doing. One plays 1, 2 plays 2, 3 plays 3. Mm-hmm. Hey, with this thing that caused about canceling the season and coming back, they may have a new kind of schedule, because I think that's pretty awesome what they're going to be doing at the end of the.
Well, I don't know if they could do this every year. I don't know if it makes sense for them to do it every year, because they're only allowed to play 12 games in a regular season, and they like the warm-up games in the beginning of the season. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it helps or hurts them. It probably, honestly, in a regular season, it probably hurts them more than it helps them, because if you have your 2s playing 2s, it's going to knock them down in the rankings as far as getting into the bowl game, a big bowl game.
Like that, though? If you want to get into a bowl game, don't you want to earn it? Not play like a crappy team at the end. You want 2 plays 2.
Well, no one says you have to play a crappy team, but the last game of your season, Michigan versus Ohio State, I'm talking about that's the regular season. I'm saying their last games are usually pretty good anyway.
Right.
Maybe better than they would be if you played like this, because you have the crossover game could be, I don't know, Michigan versus Nebraska, or their last game of the season could have been Michigan versus Michigan State. Right. Because it's in the same side. So I don't know if it hurts them or helps them.
It's exciting that they're just doing it.
It's fun. And now here's the thing. They're going to end right around the same time as everybody now.
Yeah, they said that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to end. So it's not going to mess up the college football standings. Nope. The one, who's left out in this, and they got to be going crazy right now, is the Pac-12. Pac-12 kind of followed the Big Ten. They're like, oh, if they're not playing, we're not playing. What are they going to do now?
You really think they're going to sit back? You don't think by Monday they're going to change their mind? You don't think they're going to vote?
I think you brought politics into this, and I think that's a big thing here. When you have half of the league is in Washington State and California, I don't think they'll play. I don't.
Then you could tell. Then you could say Pac-12 is not really.
People have been saying that anyway. That league is in trouble. Can they pull it together? I don't know. But
I know the Pac-10 and they did the right thing and they're doing whatever they're doing. But I'm also thinking it was probably hurting the recruits.
Well, Big Ten, yeah. Well, yeah. You had a lot of kids complaining, saying they want to leave. Nobody was going to leave because what's it going to?
Go. I mean, these kids want to play.
Right, but they wouldn't be able to play this year.
No. But
so
recruits and high schools that jumping into.
I think it was just it was hurting them for recruiting. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And that you have to think about that. And the Pac-12, the 12 is just sitting back, not worrying about it. Then you know what? They'll pay the price in the long run.
They're they're the fifth conference. Like they're the bottom conference, obviously. It used to be ACC until now. Clemson just is incredible every year.
Yeah.
It's really Clemson and everybody else in that conference. Without Clemson, the ACC would be nothing right now. They've had their moments, obviously. Miami, they've had Florida State. They've obviously had their moments, but to have right now, none of those teams are like Clemson. None of those teams can compete, in a national championship game against SEC or a Big Ten champion.
No, and Clemson didn't cover this weekend, but Clemson is on a roll, and they're. It's unbelievable what Clemson is doing for the last 6 years now, 7 years. How they just around?
I don't know if it's that long, but yeah, probably at least 5. When was Deshaun Watson there? 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
He just next year will be 4. NFL. So
that was when it really started when Watson got there.
Yeah,
that was when it really started. The problem with Clemson is, like I just said, are they as good as the other teams, or are they just the best in the ACC? Now, they have been as good as every other team, and we'll see that. Going in, we'll see that this year at the end. But they're incredible. They're just incredible. And this kid, JP was talking, being JP and saying maybe they don't want Lawrence. They have this new recruit, and we saw him this week. He didn't do a lot. He was in the fourth quarter, though. I can't even say his name. I won't even try to say his name. He's from California, I believe, and he's the next big thing. Next year, watch. He's the next big thing when Lawrence leaves. But let's
real quick question about this before we move on to the next subject here. Lawrence, he looked good. Lawrence did look good.
Great.
What do you think? What do you think in Lawrence's shoes right now? You think that if you were sitting there, would you play? Or would you just say, you know what, forget it, take the risk? He's the number 1 draft pick regardless of what he did. He could have said no, or he could have said, yeah, play. Now he's taking a risk. Willie McGahee kind of deal. Willie McGahee that time. Wasn't Willie McGahee? Or who was that running back? What was it? Willis?
No.
The one running back that played and he busted his knee. He was in a top 5 pick, and then he got drafted to Buffalo that time. I mean, the last game of the year, they said, why aren't you sitting out? And he played and he busted up his knee. He couldn't get drafted. But what would you have done with Lawrence? There's no reason to play.
We don't have to look that far back. Look at Tua. Look at Tua. Tua got hurt last year and then dropped to 5. Luckily got to 5. I would play. I would play. I could never, I have trouble believing that you're that good on that level of football and you aren't the type of person that has to play and has to win. I can't believe that you're a quarterback, you're that good and compete at that level and you don't have the drive to play every day. So I would play
every day. Everybody has
like I would think you would be a person that said you got to drag me off the field. And that's what he is. Now, you made a good point where you said like next year he's going 1. Yeah. Fields has to be going 2.
Fields, it could go 2 or 1. It depends on what Field does. Fields is a good quarterback.
No, there is no shot. There's no shot that you have a 6'6" quarterback with a cannon that can scramble and just looks the part like Lawrence that isn't going 1.
We say that every year. But last year, we had Barrow wasn't even looked at to be number 1. They had the kid from Oregon. And they had Tua. Tua got hurt. And Barrow came out of nowhere and number 1, breaking records. You don't know what happens, but that field, I like that field in Ohio State.
Well, all right. How about this?
That's my running back. That's my kind of quarterback, but I like him.
How about this? If Tua didn't get hurt last year, he would have been number 1.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not. No, last year. This year that just passed.
It was the Oregon kid.
No. But if he didn't get hurt last year, he wasn't hurt going into the draft, he would have been number 1.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So Burrow didn't go number 1 because he had the awesome year. I mean, he did, obviously, but he didn't jump Tua. He didn't jump Tua because of any of that. He jumped Tua because Tua got hurt.
Tua got hurt, and he broke the record. And
that's why he went. He would have went number 2. He would have went number 2. But I think Tua still. So Lawrence stays healthy until the draft. He's number 1.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think he's number one regardless. But just like I said, what I forget his name. I was a fan of his too with Oregon. The kid on San Diego. I mean, L.A. Chargers. The rookie.
Yeah, I can't think of his name either.
2 years ago, he was great. He was a Heisman runner-up, and he was great. And then he pulled ACL, and then they said he was going to be number one pick overall, but he blew his leg. And he played last year. He was good, but he wasn't no Heisman candidate, and he wasn't no Burrow. So you never know what quarterback could rise from the top. But it's going to be Fields or Lawrence.
Yeah, I agree. Trying to look at what his name is, the quarterback for.
I was a big fan of his too.
The Chargers.
I lost his name. Damn.
All right. Anyway, let's talk about last week. Lot of surprises. And listen, I said this to JP when we were talking about the betting. The first week, always take the underdogs. Take every underdog. You're going to win. Because nobody knows what's going to happen going in the season. How do the two worst teams in the league come out winners?
Yeah.
Jacksonville and Washington both win their games.
Yeah. Minshew was one of what was unbelievable.
He was okay. People are going a little nuts. He did throw 3 touchdowns, but he had 178 yards. I mean, he wasn't, he was good. He was efficient.
Yeah.
He was efficient.
20 for 23?
Yeah, he was efficient. Absolutely efficient. But I'm not going to go crazy over Gardner Minshew.
No, he's not, yet. But he's not something that you're going to say, oh, wow, the team's going to look good. They're going to go 10, 11 wins. They got their one win against a team that we thought that was supposed to beat them up. But
yeah, well, do we know that it's going to be one win? I mean,
no.
Listen, what tends to happen is teams like that, they get their early season. They might come close the next couple of games, and by the end we'll forget when they have 3 wins for the season.
That's the one good thing about if you believe that Jacksonville and Washington, if you believe they're really not that good, their point spread this week is not going to be very high. So if you think they're going to be a normal team like they're supposed to be, you take the favorite this week against them. I mean, Washington's defense looked good too. Jackson, they both look good.
Yeah, let me give you the lines on those 2 teams. Jacksonville is getting 9 points against Tennessee. Huh? Yeah, they're not fooled. They're not fooled in Vegas. And Washington is getting 6.5 versus Arizona. Yeah, I think that's low.
Yeah,
I think that's low.
With that offense, yep.
So, give me some surprises of this past week.
Let's go with the team. The team I thought that was going to look better than they did, and my own team, Denver. That was a big surprise for me because I really believe in them, and I still do. And
Tennessee should have had like 30 points. The guy missed what? 3 field goals and an extra point, and then they came in and won the winning.
Now you know why New England got rid of him. He should have hit the 3 field goals and an extra point, and it happens. And I'm not even going by that. I'm going by the play ability and the coach calling. Denver should have won that game. No matter what happened on the other side, Denver should have won. And it surprised me that the coach, such a defensive-minded coach and a great offensive coach, that couldn't do things the proper way. And it was just like a surprise to me because you're calling crappy plays on the goal line. Not once, not twice, 8 times on the goal line, and you couldn't get in. And then you're a head coach, and you got an offense that can throw the ball around. He can throw the ball around without a starter wide receiver. He can throw the ball around, and you're looking at the clock with 1 minute and 40 seconds left, and you're watching it go down so the guy could kick a field goal. That was a surprise to me because I thought a coach could do a lot better than that.
Maybe he just thought he was going to miss it again.
It's NFL. You're not supposed to look at that, And you know what he says? He says, I would do it again. And then he apologized today. I mean, come on. John Elway must have been really drunk not to fire him.
Listen,
that was my surprise because I'm really surprised about the coaching calling the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, they're at home. Tennessee's coming in mile high. I thought that was really going to be tough for Tennessee, even though I think I took Tennessee in that game. But yeah, I don't know. They left 10 points on the board and still won. Tennessee. 10 points on the board and still won.
Henry got shut down for the first 3 quarters. The fourth quarter, he started running hard.
Well, that's Henry though. That's Henry though. Henry is Henry. No, but that's how he runs though. He's a bruising back. Henry always takes off in the fourth quarter because he's beating the line up, beating the defensive line up, and then when they get tired, he just explodes. That's how he always is.
He's a wrecking machine. In the fourth quarter, he was just pounding anybody in his way.
If he has like over 50 yards in the first half, it's over. He's gonna have a 200-yard day.
Yeah, he didn't have nothing. He didn't have much at all. But in the fourth quarter, I think he got 60 yards alone, and that's what they did. They killed the clock.
Let's talk about some players that had performances either better or worse than we thought. And let's start with this is a guy that you were really big on in fantasy. You said you would not draft C-Mac. If you got the number 1, you would draft Saquon.
Yeah.
Now Barkley, people are killing him for what he did this week.
One game.
He had like 60 yards receiving.
Right.
I mean, he didn't have a dead game. He just had a terrible game running the ball. This guy, you said it perfectly. He's like Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Just not as good. He will get hit behind the line and get taken down on 90% of his plays. He is not a guy that's just going to get you 4 yards. It's not how he is. If he's not breaking the 10-yard run, he's getting a negative or, right by the line of scrimmage. Now, the offensive line is bad, but the Steelers' defensive line is one of the best in football. So I don't think we could really – and this is a team that people were underrating. Like JP had them in last place, I think. They're going to be good. They're always good. Big Ben to Juju. Again, now they don't have a running back, but still. This defensive line is way better than anyone thought. And I don't think you could judge, what the Giants did. And I don't think you could judge what Saquon did on this one game. He's not a bust. He's not going to be terrible the whole year.
There's a couple problems here. One, like you said, the defense is good, and I said Pittsburgh will be good and probably win a division as long as Big Ben is around, and they're going to be good. On the other side, you can't judge Barkley one game, and there's a guy that I think that's also is horrible. I don't know why he's there. Is that offensive coach?
Jason Garrett.
Yeah, you can't. Listen. He had his turn. He had his ways. You can't play like it's a Dallas offensive line. You can't call the plays like you have to do something to work with the quarterback that actually is good.
Well, he had a terrible game though.
He did.
Terrible game.
But he's.
Did you see that interception?
I saw I didn't watch the game.
Holy shit!
I saw it.
Rolling to his left. They got the ball to the 4-yard line, I think.
Yeah.
Rolling to his left. About to get sacked, he just tosses it up.
Yeah, that's a rookie. He's not a rookie, but that's still a beginner mistake.
Yeah, that's a young mistake. That's a young mistake.
There's a couple quarterbacks that did that Sunday, but you can't underestimate Barkley. Barkley is there. They're going to develop. They're going to be much better, and Barkley's going to be much better than he was Monday.
Agreed. Okay, so let's talk about. This is one that we were wrong about. We thought this was going to be a running team, and it very well may be, but hold on, let me get his numbers. 400-something yards for Aaron Rodgers, I think, right?
It was up there. He exploded. Whatever it was, he exploded.
300-something yards. I mean, he absolutely destroyed Minnesota's defense. They had a little bit of a running game with Aaron Jones. People who thought he wasn't going to be good this year, they're wrong. He is definitely going to be good. Dylan's going to have to wait a year. But, he just – let's see. Anyway, he had, Adams had, 14 catches for 150 yards. They destroyed him.
2 touchdowns he had. Still.
Aaron Jones is not dead. Everyone thinks he was finished. He was dead. This guy's not dead. This guy, he's still Aaron Jones. He's, in my mind, and I've always said it, he's overrated. He's not one of the best quarterbacks ever. He's just not. He's just not. You put him against any of these other quarterbacks, they've at least been to more than one Super Bowl. Except for Breeze. Breeze is the other one, is the other outlier that's only been to one. Both those guys, you can't say you're in the top, 5 or 10 quarterbacks of all time. They haven't gotten there at least.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you know how I talk and you talk and everything about how shitty he's going to be and Green Bay's done. I said Rodgers is going to be benched or traded, and it don't surprise me if they get 11 or 12 wins and Rodgers shows that he's an MVP. Maybe he's playing for his job. Maybe he knows what's going on. He's not going to say I don't like this.
Maybe drafting Love lit a fire under him. Yeah, it could be.
And everybody keeps saying, well, Adams over there is not the best wide receiver because Thomas and everybody else. Adams never finished a season. Adams never played a complete season. He had 100 and something.
Did last year?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Oh, he got hurt at the end, right?
Yes, he got hurt in the beginning. He got hurt the first 4 weeks.
Right.
He was out.
And he had
it was low. And then the year before, Rodgers got hurt, and he got hurt at the end. He had 100-something yard receptions and 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns.
Right.
Look, if they could play together and they could stay healthy, which was hard the last 3 years, Adams is a good wide receiver. He's going to get his contract, and he's good. I mean, he can't be stopped. My question is Minnesota. Minnesota's defense, Cousins, they exploded in the fourth quarter, and they did come back, and Cook scored, and Cousins started throwing the ball. But that's not Minnesota. That defense used to haul Rodgers and used to play up to par. That they just got shit on. They just got shit on.
The past couple of years though, Minnesota is up and down. They'll have these games, and then they'll have 3. They'll be 3-1 going into the week 5, and you just you'll forget about this game. They'll start playing well. The thing with Minnesota is the defense has to play better, and they have to control the ball better.
Yeah.
They're a running team. They want to ground and pound the ball and have Cousins throw once in a while. That's how Zimmer runs that offense. You can't be giving up 43 points to Green Bay. You're just out of it. It's just I don't think this is going to happen. This is not going to be the norm for the year for Minnesota. Don't sleep on Minnesota.
It's week 1. Minnesota would get back. You're right. They'll win 10 games, 9-10 games. Minnesota, it's only week 1, and Green Bay got the better part of it this time. There's one more game around, between them two.
So let's talk about, one of the shockers this week, and that's Washington beating Philly. Philly, everyone just overlooked how many injuries Philly had, and they had. Forget about all the wide receivers that got hurt. Their running back got hurt this week, but I think they lost 2 offensive linemen. Their offensive line is just in shambles right now. Yeah. It's not a great division. We know that. We know that Washington is not great. We know that the Giants are not great. We'll see what happens with Dallas. The Dallas was not great this week. I mean, look at it right now. You got Washington's down. Washington's the only one with with a win in the division. So it's definitely not. The season's not over. It's not time to panic. This could be a replay of last year where 9-7 wins the division.
Yeah.
So they can compete, but you got to be a little worried if you're a Philly fan or if you're in Philly or if you have Carson Wentz as a fantasy quarterback like me. You got to be a little worried because they did not look good. They did not look good.
I agree. In the first half, they looked good. Carson Wentz did his job. I think there's a couple other problems over there, and it's the defensive side. They're young. I just don't sleep on them. They're going to get healthy. The wide receivers are going to get back. That rookie over there looked good. The wide receiver, you're going to get
Rieger
back. Deshaun Jackson's going to be all right. You're going to get the running back. They're all going to come back. So
I think Alshon Jeffrey's ready to come back.
They could be 0-3, and you know what? In that division, that's still good record. 0-3. That's Philadelphia.
You're not out of it. It's not a good record. You're not out of it.
Don't sleep on them.
What about Washington, though? I mean, I don't care who you're playing. If you're considered the worst team in football or the second worst team in football, you get to win the first week by 10 points. You did something right. And you said it last week, we're not talking about that coach.
Right.
And he comes in and right away you got a little different
defense
scenario and outcome. Just maybe mindset.
He's a defensive-minded coach. He's a defensive-minded coach, and he got this guy that he drafted at number 2 pick overall that looks like he's going to be the real deal over there. And that defense wasn't too shabby last year. So he did the defense. I'm not talking about the offense. I don't even know if Haskins could play as a real quarterback, but that defense could, as we all know, could win games and hold offenses. And you bring in a team, and we know Rivera as a Carolina Panther, he always had a defense. He always figured out, he did his offense with his running and all that, but whoever controlled that. But his defense was always, he's a Hall of Famer. He's an MVP. It's only one game into the season, and I think he's moving that defense pretty well. Yes, Philadelphia was hurt, but you know what? It's still a game, and
absolutely.
The defense looked lovely in the second half. I mean,
they were down early. Philly looked like they were going to run away with it.
3% chance of Washington winning at halftime.
Yeah. Let me ask you something though. We started before with the surprise players. Who would you say? Who's your surprise player of the week? Who are you most surprised with this week, or most impressed with?
Most impressed with, man. I don't know. I really have to look into it and see who I'm really impressed with. But
how about Cam Newton?
I'm impressed with the team.
I mean, listen, they played Miami. They played at home. I know.
I'm impressed with the team because they made it work the way they had to make it work. We all thought, and you know what, Cam, plays a different offense. That whole offense was different. They made it work the way it was supposed to. Yes, I'm surprised with Cam, but that's Cam. But the whole offense, everything, the defense, everything worked totally different to players' ability. And I am surprised about them. And I know Cam could get the job done if you're going to run his kind of offense. You're not going to go over there and say, look, we're going to run this offense like Brady ran it. Cam's not that kind of quarterback. And I tell you what, you're right. I'm impressed. I'm really surprised about the whole thing in New England. The test is this week. But
yeah. Let's see. Go into Seattle.
Yep.
Let's see. Because if he does that, and he wasn't. One thing that he did, what they did with him was the play action and then pass right to Edelman, which is going to be there all year. They don't have any receivers except for Edelman. They have nowhere to go except for Edelman. So I think it'll be there. But I don't know. Let's see how it got to be close. They were playing Miami. Miami did not look good. So let's see. Let's see where that goes. How about this one? This one shocked me. How about Adrian Peterson?
He could run.
Adrian Peterson going for 90. That's impressive.
Yeah, he's up there and he's getting a shot. He's a running back. He's a true running back. And I didn't think he would get the ball, but they got a three-man running game over there between the 3 running backs, and Adrian Peterson took advantage of it. And he looks really, really good. Adrian Peterson. I'm not even sure how old he is. He's been around for years.
He's not as old as he's not Frank Gore old, but he's pretty old.
Yeah,
he's pretty old. We had some terrible performances. Baker Mayfield.
We're also thinking of him and someone else in the National League. I think we're all both going to agree. I think.
Yeah, we're going to get to him next. Tell me what you thought about Baker.
I think he's done. I think he's a flop. He's a bust. I think as much as I support him, because I think he could have been good after he showed up that first couple of games of his career. He can't do it. He's shot. He can't do it. I think there. People. I was talking to someone today. They said you say and I understand. He hasn't had a right coach in a couple of years. He's been playing under different coaches. This is his fourth head coach in 3 years. He has trouble mouth Odell Beckham, and who knows what he's saying and his attitudes. And they're talking about now Odell's going to be traded before they're done. Mike Francesa is saying that. Don't believe it. But I just think he's done, unless he could go to a place where he's going to understand the coaching or keep a coach for at least 2 years, because you could go 50-50 with it. But he's horrible. He is. He's shot. He had a terrible game. How about last year? Well, I'm not going to count anything with last year, because
Freddie Kitchens was a terrible head coach. But here's the thing. He has a lot of weapons around him. I understand all that. He went against the Ravens at home, opening day. I mean, you got to give – and the Ravens just – they put up 38. He made a lot of mistakes, but let's see. Let's see this week. See this week. Yeah, tomorrow, Cincinnati. If he does terrible tomorrow, then, yeah, we got to start talking. But let's see him not play against one of the best teams in football in their house, a division rival. Let's see. I'm not gonna give up on him yet. But he didn't look good. He did not look good.
There is we mentioned him earlier. There is Ohio State quarterback that would probably attract the fans over in Cleveland if he don't straighten up.
Oh, if they lose, they've definitely taken him.
Yeah.
If they lose and they get the number 2 pick, they will definitely take Fields.
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now I wavered on this. I don't know why. I just started believing the hype. But when this first happened, when the trade first happened, I was saying the same thing. If you do not give Tom Brady time to throw the ball, he's not going to play well. He's a bad quarterback when you hit him. We've known that for years. The Jets, that's the only times they could ever beat him. If you could hit him, he gets his mind out of place. And that offense that they run there is just a spread out offense. They don't protect the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he starts getting hit. He starts getting frustrated. He doesn't know where to throw the ball. His passes are all over the place. He's got a lot of weapons there. He's going to put up numbers, of course. He put up numbers the other day. But he is in that division. If you let these teams hit you, and, he's going against a really good defensive line there. He's not going to do that every week, but he's going to do it a lot. There are definitely, he's going to face a lot of defensive fronts. They hit him, and he's just, not that type of quarterback. It's like Peyton Manning was like that.
Yeah.
You had to do max protect for Peyton Manning. You had to keep the tight end in and a running back in, send 3 or 4 guys out, three guys out at that point, and he's going to hit him. If you don't do that with Manning, this is what you're going to get all year, an up and down performance.
Yeah, and that was my thing about Tom Brady. The first drive, he brought that team down, and he went up the middle, and he scored a touchdown. It was all good. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go, 7-0. And Tom Brady, first drive, he did it. I said, uh-oh. I said, this may be something right here, And then he just came out, and you're right. You have to protect him. It's a disappointment with him with different things. Maybe it's the playbook. Maybe it's Aries. Aries talked a little shit just the other day about him. But Gronk, you need to bench. The guy can't run down the field without slowing up. The guy is out of breath. He's skinny. He looks like he went on a bringe somewhere.
Well,
he can't do it.
We had to know that there was going to be rust for Gronk. He hadn't played in a year. He was, he's on the WWE. We had to know that there was going to be rust. So I don't want to give up on Gronk yet, but people that thought he was just going to come out of the gate and be insane.
I mean, if you notice, after the third quarter, after the second quarter, after halftime, they put Gronk on the bench for a couple plays.
O.J. Howard.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
He ran down the field. He was in and out. Brady missed him 3 times, but got him on a touchdown the one time. Yeah. Howard is a fast, good tight end. They got to play to the ability of the team. They got to Gronk.
Well, the problem with Howard is he can't block.
No, he can't block. Gronk can.
Yeah.
And another thing I got to say about that team is I was a little surprised how good that defense was. It's against the Saints, and it held the Saints to a part. Yeah, they're the Saints. They're going to score.
They scored 34.
Well, that's a normal thing, but the pressure they put on Drew Brees and the stuff they did.
Well, he didn't have Thomas, though.
No,
they didn't have Thomas.
And they're not going to have Thomas.
Yeah, so this is, we got to say that too. The Bucs went against one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's so
and a good defense too.
They could still. I'm not giving up on them at all. All. But I'm telling you, if Brady gets hit, he is not the all-time quarterback that you think he is. He's not.
His 2-year contract will only be 1.
He looked frustrated at the end.
Yeah.
And he gets mad. Evans
is hurt too. You got to remember, Evans is hurt. He played, but he wasn't Evans.
Yeah.
So, they're hurting. And now you got what's his name? The other wide receiver over there.
Miller. Oh, Godwin. Yeah, what about
He passed out. He's in protocol. So now he's hurt. And so now you're all in. Now they're all in bad shape. So who knows what they're going to end up doing? Coach Airy says when he took a hit during the game, we didn't think it was that bad. Well, today it ended up pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, he's in a protocol.
Great. Yep. I have him.
So now you got that new Edelman over there.
Miller.
That little dude. You got that.
It's funny because I'm watching I think it was NFL Network, and I forget what her name is, the girl that does the morning show. She came on, and they asked her who was going to have a big week this week, and she picked that guy. She
really?
Said, because she said Amendola, Welker, Edelman, the small, speedy guys play the slot. Brady loves them. And
yeah, good, man. We'll see. It's only week 1. You said it. It's week 1. Let's not look at it and say, oh, it's the end of the year. This is just
some teams are worried. You got a lot of injuries out there.
Yeah.
You got Marlon Mack out, Thomas out for a while. Connor got hurt the other night. You just said Godwin. Yeah. So a lot of these teams, especially if you're talking fantasy, a lot of teams are upside down. But yeah, you had a lot of injuries. This Mack injury, to me, everyone's talking Naheem Hines. Taylor is going to take off now. That's it. Taylor's job.
It don't matter who takes off over there. When is Mack not injured?
That's what I was saying at the beginning of the season. He's always injured. Always injured.
So that's not – I mean, yeah, they have a two-headed race there, and it would have been better for both of them. As a playing, not fantasy, as a playing ability. It would have been better as 3. Now they got that Hines in there. They got Taylor in there. They still got a two-headed horse over there.
I don't think
work it.
I don't think so.
And Mack is done. I think you won't see him Mack in a Colt uniform again.
Yeah, no, well, they put him on IR, right?
Yeah, and he's done. So it's not a big deal over there.
Let's give a little bit right now on the Jets. We heard about your Broncos. Now let me give my Jets analysis.
Get the tissues.
Listen.
Got him?
I just don't understand. I don't understand. You sit there and watch the game, and it's the only game I saw this weekend, and the past 2 years it's been like this, where I can't remember watching a game where every play that you watch, your team play offense, like the defense dictates the play. It's not the offense that dictates the play. It's not like, it's just they're all of a sudden everyone's on Darnold. He doesn't know where to go with the ball. He has no idea where to throw it. They probably threw, 10 screen passes the other day? That was all they were throwing. All they were throwing was screen passes. They would run up the middle, screen passes. There is absolutely no inventiveness or creativity on offense. There wasn't last year. There's not this year. Today, Chris Johnson said that, they said something like Gase's job is safe, first of all, and he's an offensive genius or something like that. Like, what are you watching? What offense? They were last in the league last year in offense. They had some injuries, yes. They had a lot of injuries. But last. And now the other day, they were just absolutely atrocious. And I'm telling you, this keeps going. And if they get the number 1 pick, I want Lawrence. I know I love Darnold. They get the number 1 and number 2 pick, I'm ready to go if they keep playing like this. But I'm not giving up on Darnold. I don't think it's his fault. But, I mean, they got to help him somehow. They got to help him. How is it possible that every play is a broken play? Every freaking play was a broken play. And the defense lost a lot of guys. I mean, Williamson wasn't even there. He's the middle linebacker.
Defense played fine.
Not really. They didn't play fine. They were just, we could blame it on injuries. The first 3 drives, they scored touchdowns. Like the first 3 drives that the Bills had, it was 21-0.
Yeah, I mean,
stop anybody. And
you're playing against Buffalo, but the defense gave the offense their opportunities. At
the end, yeah.
I mean, Allen fumbled. Allen fumbled a couple times.
Allen is a terrible quarterback. I don't care about. Oh my God! If you saw him play the other day, it was terrible. Here's the thing: they just didn't know how to play him. It got to the point where here's what they were doing: the first 3 drives, he was just running like every play he ran. Every play he ran. And then after that, they were spying him with 3 guys. They had 2 linemen and a linebacker spy him. So everybody was open. Everybody was open. He threw for 300 yards.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. It was disgusting. The offense was terrible. Le'Veon Bell, yes, got hurt. When he was in there, they weren't doing anything with him. Chris Herndon fumbled the ball. He got a lot of catches at the end. That last drive, I think it's 5 catches that last drive. Crowder dropped 2 balls and then broke away on a
missed coverage.
Screen pass. Yeah, no, just a broken tackle and broke away. It was just terrible. Now, let me put this to you. Now, you're going to like this one, and I think you're going to agree with this one. The Jets have all of these first-round picks, right, that they traded for Adams.
Yep.
And Allen Robinson yesterday asked for a trade. You turn around and take one of those picks and trade for Allen Robinson?
Absolutely.
So do I. Now, that won't help anything right now. I'm thinking of the next coach. That won't help anything right now because anybody could have been – Gase could have had Michael Thomas, Hopkins, and Robinson, and it wouldn't have mattered because he couldn't get the ball to them. He couldn't figure out. Yeah, watch every other offense. You have motion. You have, play action. It's run up the middle or screen pass.
Right.
Or drop back and it's a friggin' jailbreak. They had 9 guys in the box, and he couldn't figure out how to get the ball downfield.
I agree. I would trade Seattle's first-round pick this year and go get Robinson. Grab him, make sure the contract could work and everything like that because he's a heck of a wide receiver. And
the Jets have after everything, right now the Jets have $31 million under the cap.
Right.
They could afford him, no problem. No problem they could afford him. I don't want to give him, record-breaking money. Give him what a top receiver's getting, and that's fine.
Yeah. I think the problem is, and I hate to say this, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I think it's Sam. I
can't say that. Listen. If you watch the offense and he's dropping back, he's getting 5 to 7 seconds to throw the ball, and he's missing receivers or he's throwing interceptions. Yes, but he's either getting destroyed on the rush, which their offensive line is not terrible. It's
good.
Yeah, but they just have no creativity. You know what they're doing. I can't blame him with this. You can't because he wasn't missing anybody.
I'm not taking nothing.
First of all, his first 3 passes.
Gase needs to coach the game, just like I said in my team. Gase needs to coach the game to the ability of his players. And Jets do got some good players, and they're not getting coached. You're right. It could be a different thing,
He's running the screen. He's running screens with nobody to block. He's running it right up the middle when he's going to run.
My problem is, and my thing is, that's not Gase's offense. He hated screens. Why all of a sudden there's screens? Why all of a sudden he always hated screens. He liked the power running back to get the run yards, and he liked to do it downfield or slot or in the slot thing. He always did. All of a sudden, all kinds of screens are happening. Sam did say he didn't see nothing open down the field.
Listen, he didn't have enough time to throw the ball. His first 3 passes, Herndon drops 1 and Crowder drops 2. Like right in the hands, drops the balls. They're not helping him. Like I said, I am not making a decision on him yet. But if this keeps up for 16 weeks and they wind up with 3-4 wins and they're in the 2 spot, Justin Fields. Absolutely. The Ohio State kid.
I think you got to worry about the coach first.
No, both.
I think that's done. They got to get a coach, and I think if Denver does the same thing, I think we'll be fighting for a certain coach. It's just I can't stick up for Gase no more. I like Gase. I like the offense. I know the running back situation was a problem. He's going to have his old man running the ball a little bit over there that he always liked and he supported. But I just think that Gase's mind is just off. Sam's off. It's done. It's time to move on. And
He's never been good though.
His offense, I know we could go to the man and family or whatever.
His offense has never been good.
They were good. I mean, he was good. It just never had the right Miami. He was good. It's just he never got along with players. He didn't get along with players. They weren't
good. They made the playoffs once, but their offense wasn't good.
It was good enough to make it.
It was better than this.
But again, I just think that it's time to move on from the whole situation. And Sam, you can stick up for Sam. I think he's bad, but again, Sam is not a good quarterback.
Stop.
Stop.
Yeah. It's too early for that. It's too early. This is definitely the week you can say that, but it's too early for that. All right, let's do our picks. Last week, JP's not here, and he was the hero last week. He was 2-1. I was 1-2. You were 1-2. So we both sucked.
What did I win on? Arizona.
That was it. I was just going to say that. Arizona, you won.
Yeah.
So you go first. You go first this week. Or you want me to go first?
You go first. I don't want to pick the same teams. Really, I didn't even look at them.
You got them in front of you now?
Nope.
So how are you going to pick?
I'm going to look at them as soon as you start talking.
All right. All right. My first pick, we mentioned it before. I don't know how good one team is, but I know how good the other team is. You have New England going all the way to Seattle. Cam Newton. Seattle's defense did not look great, but the offense did. I don't think it's going to take a lot for them to, you have Gilmore over there. The defense is good on New England's side, of course. They lost 3 or 4 players from last year. It's not the same defense. Not yet, anyway. Seattle is only given 3.5 points. I can't believe that. At home, it's not a full stadium, of course. I don't know if there's going to be anybody there. I don't care. New England's coming all the way to Seattle. I take Seattle minus 3.5.
It's only 3.5?
Yeah.
I'm going with the Detroit and Green Bay game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's a 3. That's a 3. I just looked. That's a 3.2, correct?
Wait, Detroit versus who?
Green Bay.
Oh, I didn't pick that game. So 6.
6. All right, 6. And I'm calling Detroit. Detroit will upset Green
Detroit
Bay.
plus 6.
Plus 6. Everybody's going to jump on this bandwagon, like I did already with Rodgers, and we talk good about him. Detroit always plays tough. Detroit had a bad game at the end there. That was another upset that surprised everyone. Everybody thought it was going to be the opposite, down 17-0 in the fourth quarter, and they lost. But I think Detroit's going to come back, and they're going to play good. Stafford's healthy. He's going to play good.
All right. This next one, you have one team that looked real bad last week, one team on offense that just looked real good last week. I know they didn't score a lot of points, only 20. They just looked like they were in sync. That's the LA Rams. Rams are +1 going into Philly. Philly's, we said the offensive line is in shambles. They don't have a running back. They don't have wide receivers. They have 2 tight ends and a quarterback. And like I said, the Rams just looked good against Dallas. They just looked so good. They're in sync. They were doing that play action, and then Robert Woods was everywhere in that game.
Yeah,
I don't know what he ended up with, but the first half was all Robert Woods.
Well, that running back core is pretty good too.
Akers didn't do a lot, but the other kid did.
Brown.
Malcolm Brown. Yeah, he did real good. So I'm going to take the Rams +1 at Philly.
Yeah. We'll go with the Brady Bunch and Buccaneers versus Carolina.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to stick with what I'm a fan of. They look good.
Tampa Bay -9 at home.
Right. They look good, and I'm not going with Tampa Bay. I'm gonna go with Carolina.
Well, here we go.
Bridgewater, he looked awesome.
He did look good.
He looked good.
Robbie Anderson had one breakaway catch.
Yeah,
too much on him.
Robbie Anderson played good. He's all right.
McCaffrey is insane too. McCaffrey's
good. They're starting to rebuild everything. It's a new coach and everything like that. But I really think that Carolina's gonna beat the Brady Bunch over there, and they're gonna go 0-2, and then that's all week worth of TV. Is what's going on in Tampa.
Okay. My last one. Yeah. This, I just. No, I'm not going there. No way. Even 7 points the Jets are getting to San Francisco. It's a little crazy, but I'm not going there. I'm going to stay in the division, though. Miami is getting 5.5 at home against the Bills. Bills defense definitely looks good, but I don't believe in Allen. I'm sorry. I just don't believe in Allen. I think that the Dolphins are going to win at home. The defense didn't look terrible. They were just overmatched against New England. In New England, they come home for the home opener, plus 5.5. I'm taking Miami at home over the Bills.
That game could go either way. I think you're going to agree with me with this one. If Miami does get blown out or beat up, I think Tua is going to start. Chat is going to start talking.
Absolutely.
I think Fitz is done.
Absolutely.
So it's like for Fitz, it's like an end of career, do or die. Let's get this done.
No, listen. Here's the thing. I wouldn't say that if Tua comes in, that he's finishing the season. So I wouldn't write Fitz off, even if he gets benched, because he did that with the Buccaneers, where he got benched for Winston, then came back. Once Winston sucks, but yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and my pick of the week.
Here we go.
It's tomorrow night.
Here we go.
Cleveland and Cincinnati. We talked really bad about him. We think his career could be over.
You do.
I think Cleveland really puts a beating on Cincinnati. I think Mayfield is going to have a good game, but I think it's all about the run. If they could get that run going between Chubb and Hunt, and they could power.
They had it last week.
They had it. They did.
Yeah.
They could really power that.
Chubb had 40-something yards in the first quarter. Yeah. I think a little over the first quarter.
And that's my pick of the week is Cleveland dominating Cincinnati. And I think Barrow is going to really get frustrated about it.
Yo, he looked good this week. He looks like a quarterback already. He looks like he looks the part. Everyone thought, it's 1 year he had over there. No, he had 2 good years at LSU. And last year was the best year anyone ever had a quarter in NCAA. So
he made two mistakes that cost him. But at the end, he took his team down to put it on a field goal.
I mean, come on. You can't blame him for the loss. They could have won that game.
Yeah. He looked good. And he's a beginner. He's nervous. He's a beginner. It's Barrow. He ran. He scored a touchdown. And drives were great. Barrow's going to be good, but I just don't think they're good enough right now. I don't think Cincinnati's good enough right now.
That was one of my picks. If I had 4 picks, it was going to be Cincinnati plus 6.
All right. Go with it.
No, I already took my teams.
All right.
All right. Well, that's going to do it this week. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I had a couple texts, help from my daughter, who just – I feel so bad that I made my kids Jet fans, but that's how it is.
Really? See, that's bad. Now, I have
bad parenting. I know.
I have the 3 boys, and only one boy agrees with me with Denver. And
who's that, Gavin?
Yep. Gavin does the Denver stuff and everything, and the rest of them are on their own. One's a Cowboy fan, one's a Green Bay fan, and then I got the Denver. But everybody agrees with the Mets. So
no, see, my boys don't care about baseball. My daughter likes the Mets. They all like the Jets. That's the one team. All like the Jets. I know. It's the worst. I know. I've been through it my whole life.
Yeah, you gotta apologize to them. It's, at least with
it's on the list. Let's just say it's on the list. Yeah.
Yeah.
List
what can you do?
Nothing. But next week we'll be back. We'll be talking football again. So much better with football, isn't it? So
Yeah.
An easy, smooth show. JP, hopefully he'll be back. Not sure what kept him this week, but I'm sure it was very important. And we'll see everyone back next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, Carl. 7 o'clock.
Just remind me what day it is.
This is Pass the Mic, like you can see on the screen. And thanks, everyone, for watching. Catch the replay anytime. So long.
So long.